You're doing everything the LinkedIn gurus told you to do. You're posting daily, you're building your brand, but where are the leads? The simple truth is it's not your content that is the problem. And honestly, it's not even your fault. In this video, I want to break down why it's not working, and I'm going to tell you how to fix it. My name is Ryan Borden, and I was talking with my partner, Mitch. We were going over some content strategies, and we sorted out this problem over a year ago with LinkedIn. But we were talking about how to make videos and stuff like that. And he's like, well, let's just shoot some rough stuff and, we'll refine it and that sort of stuff. Fine. Well, the rough video was so good that I didn't want to just waste it. I thought this is really valuable and helpful for some people. So let's just put it out there. As you can see, my background is a mess. My lighting's a mess. I don't even have the light set up correctly because I'm in the middle of working on that. And, this is just a rough video. So my partner, Mitch, is going to jump in here and he's going to tell you why you're not getting leads, but most importantly, how to fix it.
All right, so if you've been looking at creating content on LinkedIn and you've been told that content marketing is one of the best ways to generate leads and get new clients for your business, you may be wondering, why is it that I'm doing what they're telling me? I'm creating the content, I'm building my personal brand, I'm getting followers, but I'm not getting the leads generated that I expected, right? You may be wondering, why is this not happening? Because I've done everything that the gurus have told me to do, right? I've improved my writing. I'm writing for multiple hours per day. Why is it that this still isn't working? Well, today in this video, what I want to do is I want to show you how leads are actually generated from content. And it's really not what you think. And the way that I discovered this is over the past 2 years. Now, my background is I've been in paid advertising for a long time, but over the past 2 years, I've really dug in and ran hundreds of controlled tests on multiple social media platforms to really understand the truth about how these algorithms work. And in this video, what I'm going to do is break down how it actually works, how leads are actually generated from LinkedIn content specifically. And you may be very surprised that it has little to do with the quality of the content. So what we're going to do first is let's break down let's break down a piece of content on LinkedIn, and let's figure out how pieces of content on LinkedIn actually generate leads. Now, before we dive into this, one thing that I want to preface this with is that you've been told things probably like you need to have you need to be using images in your content. You need to be, you need to maybe be doing video on LinkedIn because LinkedIn is doing a lot of video. You need to be posting daily. You need to post at a different time. All these different things related to these minor nuanced things with the content that it makes sense, but then you do it and it doesn't work. And it's like, oh, well, there's this other nuanced thing that you have to do. It has nothing to do with that. Some of my best posts that have generated the best leads have been posts that got the least amount of reach. They've been posts that had no image. They had no call to action even, to be honest. But it was because of what I'm doing related to the posts that's not a nuanced thing. It's just a people thing of why they're working to generate leads, appointments, DMs, and things like that. So first, let's get started and let's just look at the structure basically of a LinkedIn post, right? So you've got your profile image, right? You've got your name, you've got some, about information. You may have a link that's right there in your profile. Then you've got this hook, right? So the first element, we've got a hook, you've got kind of the line break, and then you've got the rest of your content here. Let's say you've got an image, so we've got an image. Then below the image, right, you've got the, react like a like or, a emoji or whatever, it doesn't really matter. They've got the opportunity to comment, and then they've got the opportunity to share that post with their network, right? And then below that is where we start to get into, we've got people that are coming in, they've got their profile, they're making comments on your content, okay? So when we look at the structure of the post, and I really believe that the image and or video is optional. To me, it doesn't really matter. But when we look at the structure of the post, we see we've got, basically the hook. You've got your profile info. You've got your creative. And then you've got the main, content that delivers on that hook. And then you may also do things like add a link in here, right? Depending on what you've been told about how the platform works. Well, let me ask you this. Let me propose this to you when it comes to content, okay, just to kind of drive this point home. If you were to, heaven forbid, let's just say that you stole somebody else's content, okay? So let's say you go to Tony Robbins' LinkedIn profile, and you look at Tony Robbins' post, and it's got all these comments on it, or Justin Welsh or Alex Hormozi, doesn't matter who. It's got all this stuff on it. And you look at that post and you're like, you know what? I'm sick of this. His has got, their posts have got so much, comments. Like, I'm just going to steal their post. And you did that terrible thing. You stole their post. And you posted that on your profile. You stole Tony Robbins' post. You stole Alex Hormozi's post, and you posted on your profile. If it were all about the content, then theoretically that post that you posted should go viral. Now they're going to say, well, it doesn't go viral because it's duplicate content. That's why it doesn't go viral. It's actually not that. The reason that their post went viral is because of their audience. It's because the audience knows who they are and they're familiar with them. And to one degree, and to varying degrees, they have a relationship with that audience. So the reason that the post went well was not about the content. It was about who posted it. And it was about that person's relationship with the audience of people who saw it. That is what gets comments and engagement. So you can do this systematically by doing things like, you can improve your content. You can improve your hooks. You can improve the content. You can do all of these things, but if you do not have a relationship with your audience, your followers, your connections, and things like that, the content is not going to take off. It's just not. Because if you've read the book $100 Million Leads, I think it was, by Alex Hormozi, he talks about it's not the content that compounds, it's the audience that compounds. And there's other concepts like 1,000 true fans, right? The 1,000 true fans concept. And what it really is it's the fact that these platforms are built to facilitate what's called a network effect. And network effects are about connecting people. And these platforms reward people who have stronger connections. So if you look at certain creators that have a big following or a medium-sized following, but they get hundreds or even thousands of comments, what that tells us is a couple things. One, that person has a stronger relationship with the people in their network. And what they're not doing is they're not necessarily looking at those people as leads, although they may be that. They're looking at those people as people to help them promote their message, right? They're looking at building stronger relationships. So this is why you might see somebody who has 5,000 or 10,000 followers, but has 40, 50, 60 comments on a single piece of content. Whereas another person may have 100,000 followers and they have 5 comments, right? It's because of the relationship of the people. And so the important thing is the content. You want to be producing good content. It's important. But it's not an image that's going to magically make it work. It might improve it, but it won't magically take something that's not working and make it work. It's not, better hooks, because if you're just looking at improving things, you have diminishing returns. What's key to making this work and understanding how to get better results with your content on LinkedIn is to understand that it's what happens before and how you are interacting with other people on the platform and the types of connections that you are making with them. That's the foundational piece. Now, once you have made some of those connections, and that's a different activity than creating content. The content is a way to stay top of mind and stay in front of them and stay aware of them. The content is for the people that you have the relationship with, And then when they do things like comment on your content, the people that they follow, right, that they have a relationship with, I'm going to start making stick people here instead. The people that they have a relationship with and are connected with may also begin to see your content. So this person can definitely be a lead for you, right? And I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. But also, when they take the actions that you want them to take, these people also become leads for you. And these people may start seeing your content, and they may start taking actions and converting into leads and customers from that content. And that's the truth about how content marketing on LinkedIn really works, is it's about this, and then simply structuring the content in a way that it is able to generate leads for you. So now that we understand that fundamental concept, here are the areas of a piece of content that you can generate leads from. So when we look at this, what we're now that we understand what this is and what it does, we can look at this from a different lens, and we can say, okay, I can have a link up here in my profile. One, that brand awareness of them seeing me and starting to build a relationship is going to make them familiar and comfortable and have a better relationship with me. So that's more of a branding play. The job of the hook is to get them to click continue reading and read the rest of the content. The truth is, most people don't sit there and read the entire content. They skim it and they find one point, and if it's interesting, they may go back and read it, right? And if they do that, then that tells you that they're very interested. They're starting to consume your content, and that's the first thing that we need. Like I said, I don't really care about the images that much, so yes, they can help, but I'd much rather have you get in the habit of creating good content that's written and not optimize based on photos, because I want you to get in a habit of doing the right things. And so once you have the hook and the content, you want to create an outlet like a newsletter of where you can send people to have them opt in and get into your system so that you can then create another return path for them. So if they come to this page, like if they like what was here in the content, it should be if they like what's here, then they would also like the newsletter. When they opt in here, right, you now have them as a lead. You have them connected here and you have them connected here. So you have multiple channels that you can follow up with them on. So you have this general place where you can send them, and that's why newsletters are so popular with content, is because they go together very well. So if they like this content, then the next natural place for them to go as an outlet is something like a newsletter or a lead magnet, right? So that's one way that you can generate leads, and as people comment and it gets reach, you have more of these opportunities to generate leads from it. The other place, right, you can do the same thing with this link here, right? You basically can send them to the same place, right? It's just a catch-all. And then the other place that you can generate leads from is you could do things like this first comment could basically be your own comment, right? And you could say, something like, hey, if you liked this post, then you would also love this, which is, maybe it's sending them back to the newsletter, or maybe it is a lead magnet that's where you pulled this content from, right? So it's like, hey, if you liked this, you'd really love this, right? These are both automated ways that you can start to optimize your post to generate leads from the post itself without doing anything. But then there's manual ways where, as people are commenting a certain number of times, right? So let's say that this person has commented a few times, you've started to maybe comment on their stuff and again, focus on building the relationship with them. Then you can do something like reach out to them in a DM and start a relationship with them, or say, hey, I really appreciated your comment. Is that something that you need help with, or is that something that you've experienced, right? You don't want to just go into a pitch, right? But these people, they've had a relationship, they're commenting, they're looking at your content a few times. It's a great opportunity to kind of take that relationship to the next level. The way that I view this is like, if you're at a party with friends, that's social media, right? And these posts and the comments on them, that's like you're in a group and you're having a conversation that's public. If there's a person in that group that is making some good points on the topic that you're both interested in, you may tell that person, hey, I really liked your points on XYZ. Could we text each other and maybe talk about that a little bit more, maybe grab coffee? That's like pulling that person aside in the DMs and bringing the public conversation more private and continuing that conversation. And so these are the automated ways that they can choose their own path if they're kind of just in the store looking, right? But if they're commenting and you want to focus on building that relationship, then you can take these people who are commenting and help to move them to the next stage of the process, which is not selling them something. It's starting to build a relationship and see how you can provide them value. So ultimately, if you're not getting engagement, if you're trying to use LinkedIn content to generate leads, this is one of the best ways to do it by far. It's not as much about the content, it's about what you do before and how you manage what's going on in the content itself. So I hope that's helpful.
All right. So if you have any questions, by all means, drop them in the comments. I do have a free resource. I'll try to put a link in the description or something. It'll help you out with the LinkedIn strategy. And then we'd love to help you out. If you need any help, just let us know.